Attention all stations. Good evening everyone and welcome. Bonsoir tout le monde et bienvenue. This is Victor Alpha 3 Charlie Juliet Zulu opening the amateur radio exchange group Simplex Net aka AREG for Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. This is week 1573 for the AREG on Once a Week. My name is Chuck, and my station is located in East Hamilton. And this is the net after we changed back the time 1 hour. So from now on, zero Zulu time will be at 7 p.m. and not 8 p.m. This net is on every Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. and ending around 10 p.m. local time here on 146.430 megahertz. And since this is a simplex net, not everyone will be able to hear everyone else. And so we also stream the net on YouTube. So people who tune in can hear stations they cannot hear on their radio, hear how their audio sounds on the air, and see their signal strength, as well as see my station layout. Just type my call into the YouTube search box. Again, VA3CJZ. And so look for us live under the live button tonight or under the title AREG Week 1573. And finally, we ask that you please try and leave a 1 to 2 second delay between transmissions to allow other stations to break in. Now, I have an optional question here for everyone tonight. Has the time change affected you in any way? Did you adjust with no problems, or did it cause a little bit of a change? And would you like to get rid of it? So, with that, may I now have check ins for this week's AREG?
B3, Victor Echo 3 Golf Bravo Delta. Alpha 3 Alpha X-ray Juliet. Chuck, I think your audio went dead on you.
Oh, maybe I'm not keying down on the pedal there. Is that nice and steady now?
Roger, you're good.
Sometimes I put my foot a little cockeyed on the pedal, and that's what happens. So thanks for letting me know. And the audio is loud enough there, Rick?
Yeah, you're good. You're really good. You're moving in here.
All right, very good. So please forgive me, folks, if I start coughing while I'm talking. I have been battling a cold since about Sunday now. The wife was kind enough to pass that along to me, and she got it from her work. But with that, let's start with Rick there with a little bit of feedback. Victor Echo 3 Bravo Kilowatt. Come on in, Rick.
Hey, you know it's me. Yeah, I had the other radio on, so it was, yeah, I can't hear everything on this one because it's got a directional antenna. So the other one's an omnidirectional. I usually turn it so I can just hear it. But anyway, yeah, so I missed last week. The crossband is not on because Art says he wasn't going to check in tonight because this is the anniversary of his father's demise. So he was kind of feeling under the weather a little bit about that. So he said he wouldn't be on here tonight. So I'm not going to bother with the crossband. Did it affect me, the change in the clock? Well, yeah, I think it affects everybody a little bit, but I was kind of more affected by the contest there, the CQ Worldwide. That affected me really bad because I was up in the middle of the night doing that contest. And 40 meters in the middle of the night, wow, just didn't have a lot of fun there working DX. So that's all I got there for now, Chuck. And anyway, carry on with the net. Do a great job as usual. So VA3CJZ, V3BK.
All right, very good then, Rick. Yeah, for me, like I said there, since I got sick starting on the weekend, uh, it threw me off for a little bit there. I ended up going to bed early, and of course, waking up early. And normally I stay up late, and because I wasn't feeling well, of course, I went to bed early, getting up early, and then looking at the clock, going, "Oh my God, it's only 6:30." Yeah, it affected me. Normally, though, over the past years, I haven't really felt it. But this year, maybe the fact that I was sick, and I'm still sick. So sorry I couldn't make it to your net there. I tried to check in before, but you and Al there were just yakking away with no one was taking a breath in between. I was going to do an early check in, but I just said sorry. I can't do it. Got to go. So that's that. And yeah, what was I going to say? All right, Rick. Well, thanks for letting me know um, the crossband is not on. Wasn't sure if you were going to make it, but very good then. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, last week I didn't make it. Yeah, one of my friends ended up being sick, and the whole week was just sort of shot. So anyway, that's the way it goes. And Art Dykstra's father was John Dykstra of VE3BOY, and he used to be the president of the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club back in the day when they wore ties. So anyway, so anyway, I can't blame Art for that. So anyway, yeah. So carry on, and too bad about the cold. And I don't know whether it's allergies or my wife's starting to think I'm allergic to the dog, but I don't think so. But I got the sniffles too, so there you go. Anyway, carry on with the net, and thanks for letting me in. V3 weekend.
Okay, very good then, Rick. Yeah, I know my mother's anniversary of her death was on the night before Halloween there, so it was a pretty somber time for me, quietly. And then just 2 days ago was the anniversary, 1 year anniversary of my old buddy, my dog, there passing away last year. So yeah, they morale has been a little bit low, but hey, now we got the AREG, so we're looking forward to having everybody check in and having a chat. So thank you for that, Rick. Let's move on to George, VE3GBD. Come on in, George.
Well, I got not much to report there, Chuck, but just thought I'd key up and throw a bean in the pot there. Probably be sticking around, waiting for, the kids to leave so I can get my garbage out because they hog the driveway and I can't get my garbage out.
Hogging the driveway. Yeah, I know what you mean. Our other place that we lived at before here, we had a shared driveway, and let me tell you something, George. Unless you know you have a great neighbor, do not ever don't agree to move in somewhere that you have a shared driveway. It's usually a nightmare, and yeah, I'll never do that again. So now we went from having a shared driveway to where we live now, no driveway. So we just got to battle for a parking spot on the street. So yeah. All right, George. So listen, did you breeze through the time change there? No issues.
Oh, I didn't even, the funny thing is, I didn't even realize the time change because I went to bed. I think it was actually after the time changed and woke up and I think the wife, she already changed all the clocks in the house, like you know, what do you call it? my brain goes dead.
Not the VCR.
The microwave. Holy
That's
shit!
it.
Sorry about that. Yeah, yeah. So everything was changed at the same time, and I woke up and it was like, was it time change or is that next weekend? Yeah, it actually didn't affect. Well, I think I timed out on there.
Yeah, you must have timed out there, George, but that's okay. No worries. I was waiting for you. I was hoping your battery didn't die there on your radio. So, very good. Yeah, no, you know what? I ended up getting lots of sleep. Well, we gained an hour, right? So, got to sleep an extra hour. So, all right, very good then, George. Well, we got a really good on this day in history um, coming up a little bit later. So, stick around and we'll get back to you, George.
Yeah, I'll be sticking around. Like I said, waiting for stepdaughter to get their car out of the driveway so I can get the garbage out.
Yeah, well, everything looks wet. I don't know if it's still drizzling or raining, but I know earlier we had um, what do you call it there? Ice pellets. So yeah, we got a bit of a mixture. All right then, George. So we'll clear with you and say hi to downtown Rick, VA3AXJ. Come on in, Rick.
Yeah, good evening there, Chuck. Not much to report. I'm just watching the cartoon channel here and waiting for on this day. Other than the change of the time, let me tell you, I changed my clocks in the day, and so I kind of trying to beat it, but no, that didn't work. No, I was tired for a couple of days, and then gradually got back into it. Fine now though, but yeah, it affects me every year. Even when we go ahead, it affects me. So I can't. I just can't win.
Okay, yeah, yeah. You know, they did a survey and they said that there are more accidents for the couple of days following the time change because of the people are used to going to work at a certain time every day, and then with the sun, not being there or now it's there or whatever, it throws people off, and there are more pedestrian accidents as well. People getting hit by cars. So, a pretty neat survey they did there.
Yeah, it's true. Eh? Okay, well I'm gonna stick around for a while. I'm not first on the list tonight. That's not good. I'm usually first on the list, but there's a problem there with your tee up. So anyhow, that's no problem. I'll take third, no problem. And I'll be around. But I'll be listening. Back to you.
Okay, Rick. Yeah, and don't forget too when you're going to work, if you're heading east in the morning, when the time changes, all of a sudden you're blinded by the sun one day, and the next you're not, or vice versa. So yeah, time change does affect drivers. Okay, Rick. Well, so we'll clear with you number 3 tonight. That's okay, Rick. Uh, you're always number 1 in my books. And so, look at the YouTube stream that we have going. I'd like to acknowledge Wade, VA3NCA, and Wayne B, VA3FMB. Good evening, gentlemen. Glad to have you join us tonight. And so, with that, let's see if there are any other check ins for tonight's AREG Net. This is VA3CJZ, looking for you to check in. Okay. All right. Hey, by the way, uh, just to let everybody know, well, there's only a couple of you listening, but anyways, the other day I was out in my backyard. I was checking my directional antenna, making sure it was pointing where it's supposed to, and I noticed a sag in both uh, my wire antennas. I have an 80 and a 40 foot or 40 meter and an 80 meter antenna, and they were sagging, and so I noticed the damn paracord had snapped, and so I had to go, grab the ladder and climb the tree and repair that. So if you guys are not using high quality rope, it'd be a good idea before the snow sets in and the ice that all your rope connections are healthy looking and not fraying or ready to snap. So that's my advice to you guys using paracord or whatever. I know I bought some really cheap stuff and it didn't last one season or two seasons. You know what I mean? 1 year it didn't even last. So yeah, it's best to get the UV resistant rope if you're going to get some. Get the Dacron. They do have white as well as black, and pretty good stuff.
You lost your audio again, Chuck.
Oh dear, I wonder what that is. Let me. Hmm. Okay. I guess that's odd. So where did I cut out?
You got technical difficulties, Chuck. You're losing you lost your audio.
Hello, check 1 2. It's looking like it's there. No.
Nope.
Hmm.
I'm receiving you here in Dundas, the HRMCA.
Oh, okay. Wade, I copy you as well, so you can hear me. No problem.
Roger, yep, that time you're coming through. A little bit of crackle in the background, but pretty normal for between our stations. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, very good. Very good. Well, I've already got you logged in, Wade, so come on in and let us know what's going on.
All right, yeah, I'll step in then while I'm here, and got here a little earlier than I thought I might. And I heard the audio issues there, so don't mean to step on. I think it was Al before. I just sat down at the desk, and I think that was who was having trouble hearing. So I don't want to step on you, Al, but yeah, no. Good evening, all. Glad to make it into an official RF check-in here, and between a little bit of work this week, didn't get any radio done again. So with the exception of a little bit of 3D printing for a battery thing I'm doing, which I guess is at least partially radio. I'll tell you about the time change. This one isn't the one that gives me the most trouble. Anytime I get an extra hour to sleep, it has less of an impact on me. And now with most clocks resetting properly, on their own, I guess, like phones and things like that. I don't even see that very much. But I'll tell you what I do notice is I had to go into campus for work a couple days this week, and by the time it comes time to go home, I rode my bike in when the weather cooperated, and when time to come home, it is dark. And I was there a little late on Tuesday. I think it must have been yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. A little later than I expected, and then I started to think, oh no, I don't think I charged up my lights on the bike. But thankfully, they lit up for me and were sufficient to get me safely home. But I got to get back in the habit now of keeping the lights on the bike all charged up because it gets dark earlier now.
Yeah, yeah, it sure does. Sunset was at like 5:03 p.m. today. Of course, we lost an hour, and it was in the 6 o'clock hour before. Now it's like at 5 o'clock. So I'm wondering how my solar camera and solar powered camera and all my lights, solar lights, will make do during these dark months. That'll be interesting because I just installed them this summer.
Yeah, I guess this will be a good experiment to see how well they carry over. A little bit colder and a little bit shorter daylight times, and that'll really stress the batteries. But hopefully they survive long enough for you. Uh, yeah, I've always thought it was a little funny. You might be able to maybe put a spotlight on them and charge them up. I don't know. Seems to defeat the purpose, but you'll know you'll know your house from the one that's underneath the spotlights around. Anyways, yeah, actually, I might find myself in the dark out here as well. So battery's nice and charged up, but we've had the lights flicker at least twice now. So whatever weather's coming in tonight, blowing around, it's causing the power here to flicker. So battery's nice and charged. So that actually might not be a bad thing because my noise floor is going to drop if it does, and I'll still be able to play radio. So yeah, darker, earlier, cooler nights, windy, rainy. We're in fall, I think, officially. Actually, not officially. Are we? Yeah, we're officially in fall now. So, and it feels that way too. Back to you, Chuck.
Yeah, actually, right up until I think it's December 22nd. That's when winter officially starts and fall officially ends. So I heard you mention Al a little bit earlier there. Is he trying to check in? Could you relay for me?
You know what? I know I said Al, but I think I meant George. I think George is the person just
Oh,
ahead of me. But I will nonetheless call out for any stations that can't hear net controller there, Chuck, and I'll ask them to come now to me if you're in the West End, more than likely, and can hear my voice. If you want to throw out your call, I'll relay you into Chuck. VA3NCA looking for calls. Okay, nothing heard on this end out here in the West End there, Chuck. So maybe I'll send it back to you, and with your better central range, maybe your call out will be a little bit more fruitful. VH3NCA, back to you.
okay, there, Wade. Well, thanks for the attempt, and yeah, I think it might be a quiet night tonight on the nets. I did know I've got a S4 noise level here tonight on this frequency, and so I was looking on QRZ.com there, and everything is showing either fair or poor. So they're all the bands are either yellow or red. So not very good. We're still feeling the effects of the coronal mass ejection, the CME that happened over the weekend there. So probably not too much going on. Also, with the bad weather, may not be too many parks. I don't know. I haven't been feeling well enough to hunt any parks. But anyways, with that, let's see if we can get anyone else who'd like to check in. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu with the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now. All right. So let's go to the contests. There are a lot of CW and digital contests. There are two short sideband contests. So I'll name them off here, but I won't go into too many details. We first got the WAEDX contest, and that's for RTTY, and that's for 2 days on the weekend. And next we have a triple play low band sprint, And that's for 40, 80, and 160 for PSK 31 mode. And that's a 3-day event. So November 11th, 12th, and 13th. That's the biggest one I've seen so far. Unless it's a school roundup. They're usually for a week long. All right, then we got the 1010 International Fall Contest for Digital. That's a 2-day event, 10 meters only for the 1010 International Fall Contest. Then we got the South African Radio League VHF UHF. I think that's more for South Africa only. Let's see now. There's the AWA Bruce Kelly 1929 QSO party, and that's for CW only, and for 20 meters, 40, 80, and 160. And then finally, we have a single sideband contest called the North American Single Sideband Sprint Contest. And that's for 20, 40, and 80 meters. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, folks. If you want any more details, just go to your web browser and type in contestcalendar.com. Okay, with that, let's see if anyone else is out there would like to check into our amateur radio exchange group net here every week. And we're also streaming on YouTube. Just put in my call in the YouTube search, and you can listen along. Anyone, anywhere, please come now. Okay, nothing heard. So let's move along then and start off our our on this day. Who knows? We might just end the net early. That's fine with me. My throat, my throat is not doing well. So we'll have a sip of coffee and then we'll start. Okay, so before we start with today's famous birthdays, I'd like to point out that this weekend is Remembrance Day on November 11th, and that will be on Saturday. So there will be a moment of silence. Actually, let's go back to Rick, and there's usually a Remembrance Day net going on, and I tell you, I can't think of it right now. Rick, do you have any info on that? VE3BK, VA3CJZ.
Okay, let me turn it on. Yeah, the only information I got is that there's going to be a big meeting out there at the Warplane Heritage. And as far as the net goes, I don't really know of any net that's going at that time of the morning, but you can always check into the TP net on 7100, or you can check into ONTARS at 3.755, and they may have something going there, but I haven't actually heard of any. Chuck, over.
Okay there, Rick, as you were mentioning that, I did go to the ONTARS webpage, and it says here on the events calendar, Lest We Forget Tribute, 11th of November, 2023 on 3.755, lower sideband at 11 a.m. So I imagine that's when we'll have the moment of silence, and I don't know what else, but you're right, go to ONTARS 3.755 megahertz at 11 a.m. on lower sideband. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, and also at the Warplane Heritage, the Lancaster flies over right at 11 o'clock during the silence.
Okay, very good. Well, We'll have to wait and see what the weather's like. Okay, then. So with that, is there anyone else out there that would like to check in? Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. All right, so this on this day is 141. That's how many weeks I've been doing on this day. And we'll start with today's famous birthdays with none other than born on this day, Vlad the Impaler, was also called Dracula. He was born on this day in the year 1431. And he was a Wallachian prince born in Transylvania, Romania. And he was called Vlad the Impaler because he would impale his enemies with a spike going through their entire body, and they would be on display throughout the city, at the gates especially, of his castle. All right, so quite a bang there. Vlad the Impaler, born in 1431. And next we've got Edmund Halley, born on this day in the year 1656. Well, Edmund Halley is an English mathematician and astronomer who has a comet named after him, Halley's Comet. So born in Haggerston, Middlesex. So Edmund Halley, born on this day in 1656. Next, we've got Bram Stoker, born today in 1847. I'm not making this stuff up. That's the Bram Stoker is an Irish theater manager and author. He authored the book Dracula, born in Dublin, Ireland. All right. Let's go to the year 1866. On November 8, Herbert Austin was born. He's an English automobile designer and builder. He's the founder of Austin Motor Company. You may have heard of the Austin Mini. Born in England. He actually passed away in 1941. Okay, let's go to November 8th, 1900. Margaret Mitchell was born, and she wrote the book Gone with the Wind. And she was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, next we've got Christian Barnard. Now, Christian has two A's in him because he's a South African cardiac surgeon who performed the very first heart transplant. Born in Union of South Africa. So he was born in 1922, passed away in 2001. Doesn't say the year that he made the first heart transplant, though, but interesting. Hopefully my audio is still getting out. Next, we've got Jack Kilby, born on this day in 1923. He's an American electrical engineer and won the Nobel Prize in Physics in the year 2000 for the handheld calculator and the integrated circuit, also known as the IC chip. Born in Jefferson City, Missouri. 1924, on this day, Joe Flynn was born. He's an American character actor from McHale's Navy. He was the Captain Binghamton, the short little guy with the big, thick black glasses. He was also in The Love Bug. Born in Youngstown, Ohio. He passed away in 1974 at the age of 50. Next, we've got Darla Hood, born November 8, 1931. Darla Hood is an American child actress in The Little Rascals. You might remember Spanky used to call her Darla. They used her real name. She was born in Oklahoma and she passed away in 1979. Let's jump to 1949 and Bonnie Raitt celebrating a birthday today in 1949. American 10-time Grammy Award-winning rock blues guitarist and singer and songwriter, born in Burbank, California. Next, we've got Mary Hart, born on this day in 1951. She's the TV hostess on Entertainment Tonight. She would be 72. Yeah, 72 years old. Mary Hart was the first woman to have her legs insured for $1 million. Anyways, she was born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Hey, who remembers those teen magazines in the 70s? Well, our next person is Leif Garrett, born in 1961. He was on every teen magazine you could think of. So he's listed here as an American singer and actor, born in Hollywood, California. Celebrating his 57th birthday today is everyone's favorite foul-mouthed chef, Gordon Ramsay, born on this day in 1966. British chef and reality television personality. But they got him here listed as born in Johnstone, Scotland. But he's a British chef. Okay, very good. Born in 1966. Next, born on this day in 1967, 1 year later, Courtney Thorne Smith, American actress from Melrose Place, and she's Belushi's wife in 2.5 Men. Gorgeous woman. She should have been a model. Born in San Francisco, California. Another blonde, born on this day, 1975, Tara Reid. You may remember her as from the American Pie movies. She was the girlfriend of the jock, the older, taller guy there, and she's been on Sharknado. Born in Wyckoff, New Jersey, Tara Reid. And she's our last person of note to have a birthday in history. And so with that, do we have any other check-ins or comments or questions? Please come now. This is VA3CJZ. All right, who died today in history? Well, let's start off with Doc Holliday. He died on this day in 1887. Listed here as an American dentist, gambler, and gunfighter. Famous for the gunfight at the OK Corral. He dies of tuberculosis at the age of 36. All right, this guy here, I can't say his name too well, but I'll try. Otto Frederick Rohwedder. Wedder. Rohwedder. Anyways, he passed away on this day in 1960, and he's an American engineer who invented the bread slicing machine. Excuse me. He dies at the age of 80. Oh, I love those machines. They have one at that grocery store there at Eastgate Square. Just put a loaf of bread in there and zoop. That's so cool. All right. Next, we've got 1969 passing away is Vesto Slipher, Slipher. He's an American astronomer who provided the first evidence to support the expanding universe theory. He dies at the age of 93. I'm sure most of you have heard of the Norman Rockwell paintings. Norman Rockwell passed away in 1978. He's an American artist and illustrator for the Saturday Post cover for 5 decades. He dies at the age of 84, and now his paintings are super expensive. Rockwell is most famous for the cover illustrations of everyday life he created for the Saturday Evening Post magazine over nearly 5 decades. Next one is pretty interesting. It's about the Molotov cocktail. A gentleman by the name of Vyacheslav Molotov passed away in 1986. He was a Russian politician, Soviet Minister of Foreign Affairs, and he was 96 when he died. But the name was a pejorative reference to the Soviet foreign minister, the Molotov cocktail name, that is, uh, who was one of the architects of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact uh, on the eve of World War One or two. I lost it. Sorry. Actually, accidentally deleted that one. And finally, we've got Alex Trebek passing away 3 years ago. He was 60 years old. Canadian American Emmy Award winning TV game show Jeopardy and High Rollers before Jeopardy from 74 to 1980. He dies of pancreatic cancer at, he was 80 years old. All right, so that's the last person I have on my list of famous people who died in history. But last week, I went ahead and mentioned people who passed away this year. And I did the month of January last week. Now we're going to do February. And our first person is Burt Bacharach, passed away this year on February 8th. Famous for composing the songs I'll Never Fall in Love Again, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and Promises, Promises. He dies at the age of 94. And this year we also lost Raquel Welch. She died on February 15th. Don't have to say anything about her, except she was 82 years old. One Million Years BC. That's the movie that I remember the most from her. Okay, also passing away this year is on February 17th is Stella Stevens. Her real name is Estella Eggleston, American actress in the movie Girls, 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 and The Nutty Professor, and Where Angels Go, and Trouble Follows. Died of Alzheimer's disease at the age of 84. Next, we've got Richard Belzer, passing away on February 19th of this year. He was an American comedian before he became an actor on Law and Order, SVU. He was Detective John Munch, and he died at the age of 78. Also dying this year, we only have one person from March, so I thought I'd throw that in there as our last one, and that's Robert Blake. His real name, I didn't know this, is Michael Gubitosi. That's Italian. He's famously known for being in the movie Beretta and in the movie In Cold Blood. He was also Bobby in The Little Rascals. That's how far back Robert Blake goes. He dies of heart disease at the age of 89. I forgot about that. He was on The Little Rascals, too. All right, so that wraps up people who died this year in the month of February, except for Robert Blake. Beretta died on March 9th. So with that, do we have any questions, comments, or check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ. All right, so we're going to make it a short one tonight then. So we'll go with the events in history. And we'll start off with the year 1701 on this day, the Charter of Privileges. William Penn presents the Charter of Privileges and guaranteed religious freedom for the colony in Pennsylvania in the year 1701. Next, in the year 1731, in Philadelphia, Benjamin Franklin opens the first library in the North American colonies, the Library Company of Philadelphia. Boy, that Ben Franklin, he was into everything. All right. Another famous time in history. In the year 1789, on this day, bourbon whiskey is first distilled from corn by Elijah Craig in, get this, in Bourbon, Kentucky. So first time bourbon whiskey is distilled from corn. All right. Next, we go to the year 1864. On this day, Abraham Lincoln reelected to his second term as American president. 1864. Next, let's go to 1889. On this day, Montana is admitted as the 41st state of the Union. Next, we've got X-rays, first detected. In 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Röntgen produces and detects electromagnetic radiation in a wavelength range today known as X-rays, or as they used to call them, Röntgen rays. Next, let's go to 1910, the first Washington state election in which women could vote. 1910. That's in Washington State. That's the northwest corner of the U.S., not Washington, D.C. Now, this one's interesting. Also in 1910, William H. Frost receives the first U.S. patent for an electrical insect destroyer. So, the first bug zapper. All right, 1935. On this day, Mutiny on the Bounty, directed by Frank Lloyd and starring Charles Laughlin and Clark Gable, premieres in New York. And they win the Best Motion Picture the following year in 1936. Next, in 1939, on this day, we have a failed assassination attempt of Adolf Hitler in Berger Brockkeller, Munich. Would someone like to comment or check in? Please come now. Okay, let's go to 1944. 25,000 Hungarian Jews are loaned to the Nazis for forced labor. Well, I'm sure that didn't last long. Didn't the war end? Oh no, wasn't it 45? So in 1944, on this day as well, last German troops at Walcheren Island, Netherlands, surrender. So at least the Netherlands were freed. There you go. Next, in 1945, on this day, a riverboat sinks off Hong Kong and kills 1,550 people. In 1950, on this day, a U.S. aircraft shoots down a North Korean jet in the Korean War, and that was the first jet-to-jet dogfight in history. On this day in 1950, folks. Next, in 1956, on this day, biblical drama film The Ten Commandments, directed by Cecil B. DeMille, starring Charlton Heston and Yul Brynner, premieres in New York. Excuse me. So 1956. I thought that movie was from the early 60s, but I was wrong. Used to watch that once a year. On this day in 1960, John F. Kennedy is elected President of the United States, defeating Republican candidate Richard Nixon, who was the incumbent vice president. And then in 1962, Canada's government orders the nickel changed back to round shape. You may notice that the old nickels were made with 12 sides. Well, while distinctive and popular, it was causing problems at the mint. The coin was composed of nickel, a notoriously hard metal which required a high striking pressure. The unusual shape created a weakness in the collar dies, which tended to develop cracks at the corners. So then they went back to going to round after that. There you go. 1962. They switched back over to the round nickel. For any of you coin collectors, I remember when I was a kid, coin collecting was big, and so was stamp collecting. I had stamps. All right, next on this day, 1966, movie actor Ronald Reagan is elected governor of California. And then the next year, in 1967, Radio Leicester begins broadcasting on VHF, the first of 8 local British radio stations. That's on VHF. So now there are 40 stations. Okay, for you old school wrestling fans, back when it used to be in black and white. In 1975, on this day, Nick Bockwinkel beats Vern Gagne in St. Paul to become NWA champ. And in 1977, on this day, Ed Koch is elected mayor of New York City. He was elected 3 times. He did 3 terms. And in 1980, on this day, Voyager 1 space probe discovers the 15th moon of Saturn. Jumping to 1991, Paul Coffey sets an NHL defenseman scoring mark with 311th goal. Bobby Orr, I think, started all that as a defenseman. Not too many defensemen used to score back then. Not as well as him, anyways. All right, so that was in 1991. So in 1994, voters in California elect entertainer Sonny Bono to U.S. Congress. You remember Sonny and Cher? Well, Sonny Bono was a member of the Republican Party, and he served as the 16th mayor of Palm Springs, California, from 1988 to 92, and served as the U.S. representative for California's 44th district until his death in 1998. If I'm not mistaken, I think he died from a skiing accident. Correct me if I'm wrong. So let's go to 2018. CNN correspondent Jim Acosta's White House clearance is revoked after continuing to question President Donald Trump while an intern tried to wrestle the microphone off him. Oh, dear. And still in 2018, the deadliest fire in California history, the fire known as the Camp Fire, starts at Plumas National Forest and spreads in Butte County, destroying the town of Paradise, more than 13,000 buildings, and killing at least 88. Deadliest California fire. And finally, in 2022, last year on this day, November 8th, actor Chris Evans, aka Captain America, is named People magazine's sexiest man alive. And he says, "My mom will be so happy." Aww. Well, that ends our lists for on this day in history. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did researching it and relaying it all back to you guys. Do we have any questions, comments, or check-ins for this week's AREG Net? We're going to wrap things up quite soon, but if you'd like to check in, please come now.
P3ZJC.
Hey, there he is. VE3ZJC. Jason, come on in.
Good evening, Chuck, and everybody else on the net tonight. I literally was crazy busy today, and this is the first time I got to fire up the box. So I thought I would give you a quick check-in, only to find out that you breezed right through the net tonight, sir. What's going on?
Yeah, no, well, first of all, I'm still battling a cold, and my throat's pretty sore. And we've only got 6 check-ins with you so far, as well as on the YouTube stream. So nobody's wanting to check in tonight, and that's okay. My throat can use the rest.
Roger that. Unfortunately, you're still under the weather, so I hope that you get past it soon. I will pass it back to you. I'll let you carry on. I had nothing else to really add to the net, just crazy busy at work, and then a whole lot of personal errands to run this evening. So, like I said, back to you, sir. I'll let you wrap it up and get some rest. PE3ZJC, back to net control.
All right, there. One thing before you go, Jason. The time change was this past weekend, and did you notice anything? Did it affect you in any way?
No, it doesn't affect me at all. I get up, when my body tells me to get up. So it's usually, before my alarm anyway. So I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to it. I do know people at work that struggled on Monday that were a little groggy and unfocused, but for me, easy peasy.
All right, and you get an extra hour's sleep. So there you go. Wake up feeling very well rested. Okay, Jason, thanks a bunch for checking in, my friend. I do appreciate it. Anyone else out there wishing to check in to the weekly AREG Net, please come now. All right, so let's wrap this up then. It's 8:57 p.m. At my house. It's 2.8 degrees outside, and it looks like it's kind of wet-ish. We're supposed to have some rain throughout the night. As a matter of fact, the Weather Network says, come on, it always takes time to load up. It's at the airport, it's reading 1 degree, feeling like -3, with wind gusting at 27 kilometers. Overnight, look for a low of 3. Oh, it's going to go up. Cloudy with light rain overnight, POP 90%. And on Thursday, we're looking for a high of 9 degrees. Partly sunny in the morning, becoming mainly sunny with cloudy periods in the afternoon. So it should be a nice day. All right, then. Well, let's go up to the top of the list and do a 7-3 round with VE3BK.
Yeah, 7-3 to everybody. And another good net there, Chuck. So there you go. That was a good one. VA3CJZ, V3BK.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Thanks for sticking around and letting me know about what was going on there with the crossband. So let's see now. Who's next? I missed the list here. Where is it? George. VE3 George. Bravo Delta.
What's going on out there? Oops, I just dropped my phone again.
George, we're gonna have to go and put the rain out. Put the garbage out in the rain.
That's right. That's, windy, rain, and that's what we do.
Yeah, yeah. And tonight, I noticed we had ice pellets earlier. So interesting. Okay. Well, let's hope that rope I put up there to fix my wire antenna holds up through the winter, and that'll be good. So thanks, George, for sticking around and checking in with us. I do appreciate it, my friend. You have a fantastic rest of the evening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You as well, Chuck, and I'll be listening on both frequencies.
Okay, very good. Well, let's go to downtown Rick, VA3 AXJ. Rick, 7-3 round.
Yeah, short night there, Chuck. But I guess you're feeling a little bit under the weather. Yeah, I gotta get up early in the morning. I gotta take a run up to the res. Yeah, another thing too. Bus drivers. I hope they don't go on strike because it's gonna really be a damper on the old age people. Trying to get around the city. That's just gonna cause chaos. You know, a lot of people they can't afford cabs and Ubers and all that other stuff. So it's,
Yeah.
I'm just hoping they settle it. They don't go out.
Yeah, I hear you, Rick. But the thing is, I've noticed now, it seems like every single union is going on strike. They're all taking turns, and they want to get more money. And so I've noticed everybody, they're all doing it.
Yeah, I think myself personally, I think it's because of that COVID. It's knocked the hell out of everything. They spent too much money. Everything went up, price. You can't afford to live properly. Everything's expensive. You know, I'm not hurting, but I feel it. I feel the pinch.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we are too, most definitely. I'll tell you that. But yeah, everybody's wants to get paid more. Well, cost of living's going up, everything's going up, but the wages. So imagine those poor buggers not in a union. And when you say, give me some more money, they just say, you don't like it, there's the door. But with union, you got bargaining, and usually it works out in favor of the unions. Sometimes they go on strike, and well, they don't get much pay unless it's a super big union, and you get what do they call it? Strike pay. That doesn't cover what they normally make per week, right? So let's just hope people become reasonable and pay people what they're worth.
Yeah, right, you're on that. Okay, Chuck, good night. Slow, but it happens. Got a frog in my throat now. But jeez. Yeah, 7-3, VA3, AXJ. Well, I'll be talking to you. Bye for now.
Okay, Rick. Yeah, we both got that frog in our throat. Uh, so I can't wait to wrap this up. Let's go to Wade, VA3 NCA, 7-3 round, Wade.
VA3 CJZ, VA3 NCA. I had to think there because I heard Jason call in earlier. So, but anyways, I got it right that anyway. So, yeah, good evening, Chuck. Short and sweet tonight. Rest your voice. Hey, one thing about this day in history about your X-rays. It's funny the timing because I listened to a few podcasts and there was one by an electronics guy that I follow, and he was interviewing somebody who has a YouTube channel about physics and particularly about like cathode ray tubes, and they talked about X-rays in that interview, and how they named them X-rays because they didn't know what they were. They just saw that they were something. And then they found their ways into all sorts of products of dubious health. The funniest, well, funny maybe now in retrospect, but at the time, can't remember the name. But anyways, basically it was an X-ray for your foot, so you could see how your bones, in real time, how your bones fit inside your shoes. They had these at shoe stores, and you stuck your foot in them, and they had like a little, kind of like binocular eyepieces, and the person fitting you for new shoes would look through them and just make sure that your feet weren't crunched up in the front. They said that strangely enough, it didn't really lead to health concerns for the customers because they would only use them periodically. But there was a lot of shoe salespeople who ended up developing health problems after that. I wish I could remember the name of the device, but anyways, that's what your X-ray thing reminded me of. Anyways, I'll set it back with my 7.3s. Thanks for running it as always, and take care of your voice. VA3NCA back to net control.
That's funny there, Wade. So that means Al Bundy there. That's probably what happened to him. Too many X-rays. Geez, I would have come in handy as a kid getting fitted for shoes. Definitely, because a lot of people do not know, uh, how to buy the right size footwear. Sometimes you swear, uh, So yeah, that would have helped out. Minus the effects of having, X-rays coursing through your body. That's not good. But yeah, real-time X-ray. I lay down on a table at the pain clinic at McMaster, and I get my nerve endings in my spine cauterized, and the guy just looks at the little screen that's above the table, and he can see my X-ray of my spine there. So yeah, we've come a long way. All right, Wade, thank you so much for joining us and commenting. It helps the net definitely. And so let's move on to Jason. See if he has any last words of wisdom for us. VE3ZJC.
Hey Chuck, no words of wisdom, but do appreciate you doing that even when you're not feeling 100%. It's a true dedication you have to this hobby and to this community, and it is much appreciated. I hope I missed on this day. I hope everybody that did check in enjoyed it. The only thing I got for you there, Chuck, is I'm not sure if it's just me, but when you're transmitting, you're cutting in and out. I don't know. I don't think it's anybody stepping on top of you because my RX light on the rig goes off. You're just out. But like when Wade and the other guys were coming in, 20 over, it's just bang on solid. So I don't know if something's going on with an antenna over your place or the radio, or maybe it's just me and something weird between your station and mine, but it was a little off tonight.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I need a new foot switch. A couple of people commented that my audio was cutting out there. So we'll have to see if we can maybe try a different switch, see if that helps. If not, I hope it's not the radio. But thanks for letting me know, Jason.
Yeah, no problem. If it's not just me, then maybe just a loose connection or something down there. Other than that, sir, 7-3 to you and everybody else on frequency, and hope you feel better real soon, and hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the week. Victor Echo 3, Zulu Juliet Charlie, back to control.
Okay, Jason, thank you so much. Clearing with VE3ZJC. And before I shut down the net for tonight, are there any last-minute check-ins for this week's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ. Anyone, anywhere.
VE3 LBI.
Well, look! Hey, you guys, look! It must be the old Bob Burns whiskey well!
don't know what that was, but anyways, Larry VE3LBI, come on in. How are you? And did the time change affect you in any way?
Sleeping habits are perfect, but the eating habits are terrible. I'm hungry an hour before you're supposed to eat.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Anyone who has a pet should feed their pet at the same time, no matter if there's a time change, then you got to feed them an hour earlier or an hour later, however it works out. Because those guys, their internal clock, they know when it's time to eat, right? So you probably get some pets that are acting funny if you're feeding them at the what the current time is.
Yeah, the other thing, the other thing is too, I guess with the time change. Oh, well, you know what? Hopefully they're going to be done with it shortly. So, and I guess you're trying to wrap it up here tonight. So I won't tie it up. I just want to give you a check-in. I've been listening along for a little bit there, and I figure you want to pack it in for the evening. So I'll just say 7-3 for now, Chuck, and we'll probably get you a bit later on.
Yep, very good then, Larry. Thanks again for checking in, my friend. So tonight, along with the YouTube check-ins, we had a total of 7 check-ins. Thank you, everyone, for joining me once again for another edition of the AREG Net, and I hope to hear you all again next week. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, shutting down the AREG Net and returning the frequency back to regular operation. Thank you all. Good night.
Dream.
Check, check. Okay. Very good. Thank you, everyone, and good night.